I've been away for a while. I've been focusing on other things, getting my development going a little bit further, which is nice. Getting a good job, which I'm happy with. Going to college soon, so that's also really positive as well. Um, However, the other day, one of my buddies he asked me about what um, certain things are in programming. So I thought, you know what, this is a good way to kind of come back to YouTube and uh, bring some knowledge that will help you along your journey. So, what he asked me were modules, frameworks, libraries, and APIs. So, this is kind of like a quick rundown of like all of them and practical applications. So all of these concepts pretty much applied all in one application that you can see running. It'll be an Android app which I'll be emulating on my computer. You can kind of see over here over, that this is Android Studio over there. So let's first just jump into like modules. Module, as it says, there's just an independent unit that is able to build other pieces. So it's like a Lego block. You know what I mean? So essentially, if we look, well, there's the app. Here, this one single piece of code, this would be a module. Okay. Um, let's see. Let's go here, and you'll see like this is also another module. Okay, so that's how this works, right? Each and every one of these is in of themselves a module, right? And then so if you look here, then you have a library. Okay, so it's a collection of non-volatile resources. Now, I think what that's really implying there is saying it doesn't really change, which is for the most part true. The only thing really, you know, in this app that changes over time is just the data in the database, really. But I do have like my documents as well, which allows me to do some things. But you could say even this whole collection of data here would actually be, a library in and of itself, right? So you could say almost that I've written a library worth of code. It's interesting. But we're going to talk about a library that exists, which is called Volley Library, and it's a HTTP library. Essentially, what it does is it allows you to do your get and your post, so on and so forth. So that way you can implement some JSON file in your application. So in this case, what we're doing is we're using this URL. So this is the data that we are going to, that is used in the app. Okay, so you can come like here, and you would see that it's a bunch of basically gibberish. At least it's how it looks. However, what happens is in the app, it is parsed and used to actually get some information from this thing and make decisions based off of it. So in this case, we're using the Volley library to actually handle all of those requests. Okay, so when we want more information from the JSON file, Volley does that for us. Okay, so and then so as you just saw, it's an application programming interface. There's intermediaries, but essentially what you just saw was an API. Okay, that is an API, right? It's not exactly like the full thing, right? Because you have to understand behind all of this, there's a server which has some code which says either you can get this data or you can't get that data, or you can add this data or you can't add that data. So back on the back end there's a whole entire application which is literally called an API that houses this, right? So, but what it allows you to do is to use the features such as, the data that we have from that specific website. That's what, and we're using that in our app. Okay, so that's the usage of an API, right? And then you have a framework. So like a framework, again, so we're taking basically our collection of modules and that have a specific purpose, and we're going to make it more concrete, and so that someone could take what we already have, and we're going to be able to build something that's similar already based on that, like a website or an Android app or an iOS app, or a social network, right? Like there's even frameworks which allow you to build social networks, right? So if you look at it that way, so and then on the other hand, there's always the Android framework, which in this case uses Java or Kotlin or C++ as well, and also JavaScript as well, and Dart, kind of, sort of, I think so. Maybe C# as well. There's a lot of languages. I think though the C# one isn't really technically a C# one because you're exporting the game from Unity to Android. So I'm not sure on that. I'm not really big on that stuff. But basically what we have is, and we're not going into the technical details of this code at all, just that it does something, okay? And basically what it does is it takes that data right there and it displays it in the app. So check it out right here. It's nothing super crazy, and unfortunately it is emulated right now, so you're not seeing like per se the best version of it. But what it's doing is it's going through and it's iterating through the data. As you can see, there's 913 entries, and it has a true or false entry as well. So it says this is specifically true or this is false. And as you can see right here, through using some logging that I previously set up, you can see that it has a specific entry which is true. So it's checking, as it iterates, it's checking, is this data true? And if it is true, then if you hit false, then it's going to give you a little, this. However, if it were true, it would give it the green symbol, right? It'll do a little bit of action there just to kind of signify. And in this case, that one's also false, so hey, there we go. Only electrical equipment the Amish are allowed to use is the panini press. Okay, that is false because they're not allowed to use electricity. So yeah, I mean, this is applying basically all of that together into one application right here. So, if you're wondering like what a module or a library or a framework or an API and a database and like all these things that you're wondering about, you can see that here on my channel. And I'm actually working on a different app currently right now for a certain place, and that will be released properly. But this is something I'm really passionate about. This is something I really love. This is something I really care about, and this is something old. This app is old. Like, this is not something I'm currently working on. This is something I pretty much finished. It's not even something I released, even though I could probably release it. I've even made it so that it has the rotation stuff, so it looks fine. Like, either way, So this is pretty acceptable, but well, that didn't work. This isn't the app I want to release. So when I have another video, I'll bring it out. There has been a few people hitting me up about the Django course, so and they've had success building websites, so that's really awesome. I'm happy to hear that. So, there's going to be some more content coming soon. Also, when I'm in college, bring some of my, uh, some of the stuff I'm working on, some of my course loads. That way, you can get a feel for what's going on. So, until next time, I'll see you. Take care and have a nice day.